During the recession, we reduced our police division, command divisions, from 4 down to 3. And that really caused a strain also on services and on ensuring that we're able to respond appropriately to what's going on in the city. And when you ask the chief what his top priority from a public safety point of view, it was the restoration of South Division. And not just restoring a division, but restoring net gain in police officers to allow us to rebuild the police department back. Everyone's aware that during the recession, we lost a lot of cops, a lot of police officers, crime analysts. And this year's budget begins to actually build and actually increase the number of police officers within the budget, which is something significant that we're very, very proud of as well. And so thank you to the community, and thanks to the community, in this Measure A budget, we will have not only the restoration of fire service, but restoration of police service across the city of Long Beach. And that's something we can be very proud of. In addition to that, let's talk a little bit about infrastructure. I'm going to show a few slides here in a minute. But Measure A allows us to do some incredible investments in infrastructure. It's important to note two things. Number one is that infrastructure investments and Measure A investments don't begin to January 1st. And so those dollars don't start coming in until January 1. So we're planning a lot of these investments without a full year of funds, but January 1 on the 2017 year budget. Our budget actually begins this fall. October 1 is when our budget actually begins. But what you're going to see is a significant investment in infrastructure this year. I'm going to get the machine up here in just a minute. And what's also exciting is the money this year's budget, separate of Measure A, includes almost $50 million of infrastructure investment. And so the amount of money that we spent last year in infrastructure is the same amount of money we're spending this year in infrastructure, separate of Measure A. It was important for us for Measure A to add to our public infrastructure spending, not to just move around money and use the dollars in other ways. But what's great about Measure A is it adds to what we were spending last year. And so this year we're spending what we spent last year, and then Measure A is on top of that. And that's really great news for the city of Long Beach. And so what you're going to see in a minute is you're going to see where we're spending these dollars. As you all know, we've created a plan for 3 years of Measure A spending. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a minute. And so we're proud of this budget proposal. It's responsible. I think it's important to say that the belt is still tight. As we all remember, we went into this year with a budget deficit. While the deficit is a little bit less, it's about $1 million less than what we had expected, we still have a budget deficit. And so that deficit means that we're still going to have to tighten the belt a little bit, make some small cuts, but there's still cuts in non-public safety departments. But I think you're going to see, overall, this budget moves the city dramatically forward, and we're making investments that we haven't made in a very long time. And so, I made some of the highlights already. This is balanced and responsible. We're funding police and fire. We're expanding library services. We continue to live within our means. We're paying down our pension liabilities. The budget includes large investments in public safety and infrastructure. And like I said, in Measure A, we're making these very large investments. So you'll get these maps larger for those that are here. This gives you an overview of capital improvements that's happening in the budget. And this gives you an overview of Measure A. And I know the map's a little bit hard to see from here, but what you're going to see is we've divided up the Measure A funds into 3 years. Our goal is to get everything done and do exactly what the map you presented to the community said. And so what we're presenting today is no different than the map that the council saw a few months ago prior to Measure A. It is no different. If the street was on the Measure A map, those are the streets we're going to fix so that we're exactly here. So this is, in FY17, this gives you an idea of everything that's going to get fixed. And again, we'll provide these up close for everyone else to see in a minute.